Hey guys, Mr. Ritz here. Going to help you out on our next app, the 1.2.1 part one. So with this next unit, we're going to try to advance our skills here. And our goals are to make sure we can learn a problem solving process, practice communication skills to interview end users of an app. We're also going to generate ideas for possible problem solving in the future. We're going to learn how databases and lists allow data to be collected, persisted, and to be retrieved. And we're going to develop app as part of a pair programming collaboration. Actually, probably going to be by ourselves this year, but most of the years this is what it's going to be like. So we want to create an app that will sequentially display a list of questions to be asked and capture responses from someone who is surveyed. These interview questions will help identify potential problems to solve. So we want to make an app that asks people questions and we want to save those answers. Okay, so some essential questions we want to know is like, okay, what problems are really worth the effort to try to solve? What does it mean for data to be persisted and or persist? And what are the similarities and differences between developing an app as a creative expression and trying to solve a problem with an app? So all of our apps so far have been pretty creative. We've made apps for a balancing game. We've made apps that allow you to draw on it. Basically, we've been keeping making apps that are more game-like than what typical apps are used for. Most apps are used as a processing technique, or they allow the user to do something with information. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to kind of switch gears and make this a more information-based app. So the essential concepts that we'll go over are databases, lists, and indexes, making sure we understand what those mean. We'll make sure we can understand problem solving. What we're going to try to focus on a little bit here is some professionalism and engaging stakeholders in a user-centered design. So we're going to try to be a little less silly in this one. Pair programming when we're working together, and then we'll still use the other concepts before. We'll need to have algorithms and variables and arguments and procedures and operators, data types, logic loops, and strings that we've used before. So let's make sure we understand the complete overview of this app that we're going to make throughout the whole process. In this, in the 116 project that we just had, you had the creative freedom and minimal guidance to create any app. So future problems will have less guidance. You will get to choose what you want to create as long as you can convince your teacher of the app will have value to others and that it already doesn't exist. So you're going to try to make something that doesn't exist per se, but it's still going to be value. So to gather information and the ideas on a future app development, which will be the big project at the end of the year, we're going to start beginning the process of conducting interviews. So in this activity, the app you create will be a powerful tool for getting started in problem solving. You'll create an interview database app to help record interview information that you will be able to use later in this course. However, you may not only be the only person to use this app, so you need to consider all the users, not just the preference in your design. So here's the initial backlog breakdown. So the users that were using your apps will need a list of questions to ask in an interview or to be asked in an interview. First, the interview question displayed as soon as the app starts. So the first question is right when they start. A way for the person to speak and fill in the answer to the question. So they don't want to type in everything. They want to use the microphone to do that. A way to record the interview information. So we save their answers. To automatically display the next question in the same place after the answer is scored. So after we get the first one done, boom, the second one pops up. The app to notify the user when all the questions have been answered. After the last question, the app may be refreshed to the first question. We also want to make sure we store the interview information between each app use so that the user can pull up that information whenever they need. So after they use the app, they can go back. We have a list of all the information stored in the interviews and a way to clear the stored information from previous interviews. So if you're using the app, you might give this to somebody and they will just answer their questions and give it back to you. And you do that a bunch of times, you'll have a whole bunch of answers for a whole bunch of questions. What we want to do at the end is make sure that when we look back, we can see, okay, what did people answer for question one? How did that go through? Okay, so in this development process, we want to make sure that we are creating a fun, or we're creating for fun, or we're creating with entrepreneurial intent, or trying to solve a problem. So we can break this down into a couple of steps. So part A, we want to find an idea worth pursuing. So we're going to try to think of something that would be worth making. Part B is we're going to develop milestones. Part C is we prepare, investigate, plan. Next, we design, create, and test. Then we evaluate and reflect, and then finally represent. So by the time we do our big project, we're kind of starting already. We're starting with part A. We're trying to find an idea worth pursuing. So by the end of this course, we'll do a big presentation and go over, reflect everything there. But right now we're working our part A. So let's talk about using questions to uncover solvable problems. So the interview database app will help you get started by providing an outline and a space to record your answers to questions that help uncover problems you might want to pursue. There are many ways to find a problem that needs solving. The more interviews you do, the more ideas you will have for a problem you want to solve with an original app. So having a way to record these ongoing interviews and potential ideas is important. Therefore, you or we as a class will create an app that can store information on an Android device so you can close and reopen the app without losing that data. After you build the interview app, you will use the app to practice recording interview information. Okay, so what you might be asking here, what is reasonable to ask somebody? So you should design your app so that you can capture information that the people being interviewed, such as the names, the dates, the contact information. However, it's important to remember that not everybody wants to share their personal information. You must communicate professionally and explain why you are documenting the reasons that you are intending to do so. So with a partner, you can actually, we're going to do everything by yourselves with this year here. But you're going to try to think of ideas of what we want to ask. So the best thing that we are going to work with, and this is more partner related, but what you're going to do is try to think about what kind of app do you want to do? Do you want to have an app that is about personal experiences and interests or something you like to do? So you'd ask people questions about things they'd like to do. Do you want the app to be about school culture, where you ask the people, okay, what do you see every day here at the school that can be done better? Do you want to be about education, where you can ask, or how can you make learning fun, easier to understand, or just better? You know, what can help students for future years? Do you want your app to be able to solve technical problems? So what parts of technology can people complain about? Do you want your app to be a wellness or health or safety issue? So, you know, what causes energy or health issues? Could your app be about the community service and volunteering? So what is the problem in your community? And, you know, is there pet populations or nutrition or things you want to address? Could your app help solve environmental problems? So what environmental challenges exist where you live? Pollution, water, treatment, recycling, just a couple ideas there. Could your app be about emergency preparedness? What should your people do in emergencies? If you want to make an app about, you know, are you ready or not? Could your app be about legal issues? We probably don't know too much about legal issues, so we'll probably skip that. And global challenges are pretty big here, but you know, what global challenges are you going to solve? So what we're going to do now is we're going to brainstorm. So what I want you to do here is to first pick a category that you want to do. So if you want to make a category about, let's say, school culture here, I want you to create 10 questions about school culture that you will ask the person in their interview. So you want to ask them like, you know, do you experience issues here at the school? You might want to even make your answers not just yes or no, but where do you see problems mostly occurring at the school? You know, just also think like, what type of problems do you see occurring at the school? Do you see cheating at the school? Do you see fights at the school? You know, just things like that, things to address the school culture. Is there a problem with people's responsibility at the school? Do students, you know, not care for their environment? So just questions that you're trying to ask them. So you're going to type all 10 questions about whatever subject you pick up here and submit that. When you guys get that done, you'll be ready for part 2, and I'll see you then. All right, have a great day.